Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to cover a new DPS build which works, and it's the DPS Soulbeast. We have now Maces on the Ranger. Maces are kinda good. The weapon skills are not super strong, but they are not bad. And also, once you reach 5 stacks of Nature's Force, you can increase your damage by 25%, meaning that all the skills you will cast after reaching it will deal 25% more damage, of course, and you should be using this for your skill 5 on the axe, which is on your secondary weapon set in the offhand. This build is not the easiest build. If you want a very easy build, you could go for the Dragon Hunter or Berserker for DPS. This is a bit harder. This is the build. We run Skirmishing, Beast Mastery and Soulbeast. On Skirmishing we have Primal Reflexes. When you successfully evade an attack, you gain Vigor. This is good, like not super good, but the other two traits are kinda useless. If you want, you can skip Quickening Zephyr and go for Frost Trap, which is an unblockable damage dealer. It's a decent damage, and so in case you run Frost Trap, maybe you could go for Trapper Expertise, so you will inflict Cripple with this trap, and also the chill you will inflict will have a stronger duration. In my opinion, you should be going for Quickening Zephyr, because the quickness is really strong for the skill 5 on the axe, and also it is a break stun and also super speed, and the cooldown is not that high. Then here we have some Fury generation whenever we swap weapons, which is nice to have. Here we have Strider Strength. You and your pet gain power, gain additional power while wielding a sword. We don't run a sword. Successfully evading an attack grants might, and this effect has a 1 second internal cooldown. So this is good because we have power and also additional power. Okay, we don't run sword, but still we are merged all the time with our pet, so we get a lot of power from this trait. Then here we have additional damage to enemies which are in front of us, and also if we are behind enemies, and also if we are from the flank, or if they are defiant, so if they are CC'd. Then we have Quick Draw here. So here it's an interesting choice because Vicious Quarry is a lot of damage more compared to the Quick Draw, but still we lose this very valuable effect which reduces our next weapon skills after we swap weapons by 66% cooldown. So it's up to you. If you want more burst, maybe you should go for Vicious Quarry, because it gives you a lot of ferocity and fury, and also 10% critical chance, meaning that you can lower the precision in your gears and you can up your power and ferocity. But in my opinion, since this build has not really a lot of skills to do damage, most of your damage will come from the skill 5 on the axe and from the skill 5 on the mace. So going for Quick Draw is the good choice, because you swap to axe and you skill 5, and then you swap to Mace and you skill 5, so you can really use Quick Draw as best as you can. On Beast Mastery we have this trait which increases our attributes on the pet, and since we are merged with the pet all the time, it will also increase our attributes. Then here we have Potent Ally. You and your pet grant each other might whenever we critically strike, so we are merged all the time, so we will get every strike which is a critical strike will be 1 stack of might, with an internal cooldown of 1 second. Also the other two traits are useless for damage. Then here we have a 10% damage increase to our pet whenever we are above 90% health, but since we are merged all the time with the pet, this trait will benefit us, so it's really strong to have this 10% damage increase, because our health is the pet's health, so we need to be above 90%. Here, Greatsword and Spear skills deal more damage and recharge faster, gain fury when you disable a foe. I know it's kinda useless because we don't run a Greatsword, but still we have nothing else. The other two traits are very useless, so just go for this one, and maybe you could get some fury when you disable the enemies. We have some disables like the skill 3 from the mace, the skill 5 from the mace, and also the skill 4 from the axe. Then here we have additional ferocity on our pet, and the pet is merged with ourselves, so it's ferocity for ourselves. And then here we have honed axes. You and your pet gain ferocity, so 240 ferocity, because we are merged all the time. I will never stop saying this. axe skills gain reduced recharge and you gain additional ferocity while wielding an axe, so it's an additional ferocity again, and also recharge reduced on our skill 5 and skill 4, but we need the skill 5 mostly. On the Soulbeast trait line, we run Live Fast. Using a beast ability grants you offensive boons. It's good to get some quickness, so we can use it for the skill 5 on the axe or also on the mace. Also the other 2 traits are kinda useless. Again, here we have 7% damage increase when we have Fury, and hopefully we will have Fury almost all the time if the supports are good and if we play well. Here, once every 5 seconds, if we get quickness, we also extend the duration of other boons affecting us, so it's good to have. We have quickness on this quickening Zephyr and also on the F3, and also possibly our allies will give us some quickness, so this is good to extend the duration of some boons like Fury, Stability, Might, Retaliation, and so on, Protection. Here we have disabling a foe increases your damage and condition damage for a short duration, 5% damage. We will disable enemies quite a lot because the skill 5 has a daze on the last hit. You see this 3 and the 4th hit is a daze and it will disable enemies, and this buff will last for 10 seconds, so it will cover a lot of it. And then we have Leader of the Pack. Stance skills gain increased duration on you and grant their effects to nearby allies for a reduced duration. So I took this especially for the One Wolf Pack, which is a 6 seconds duration. If you don't take this trait, it will increase our damage by a lot. Every strike we land on the enemies will have a secondary strike which deals a decent amount of damage, and since our skill 5 from the axe inflicts 12 hits, it's a lot of damage if you sum it up with the One Wolf Pack, so having this trait makes the One Wolf Pack last 9 seconds and also to be shared with your allies for an half duration, so instead of 6 seconds, which is the base duration, you see 6 seconds, they will get for 3 seconds, as you can read in the tooltip. But also you can share your bear stance, which basically enters you in a stance which will remove conditions every interval, every second, so 2 conditions every second, and you will share this with your allies for 2 seconds, so you will remove 4 conditions from 5 allies when sharing this, and also you will heal for every condition removed. And then also the Doliac stance, you will share it with your allies for 3 seconds, like the One Wolf Pack stance, and you will share stability, and also you will remove immobilize, cripple and chill, and also it's a stun break, and also these conditions which I already mentioned, which are immobilize, cripple and chill, they will not be able to be applied on you and on your allies for the whole duration of this stance. So you see, I press it, I have 9 seconds of invulnerability from cripple, immobilize and chill, and this is huge to share. It really helps supporting your party and also giving some stability to your party. 6 stacks for 6 seconds is a lot for a DPS class. No DPS class can provide stability except maybe the Dragon Hunter if they run Stand Your Ground instead of the Sword of Justice. So in my opinion, you should be going for this trait. If you want to be more greedy and go for full damage, you can go for Oppressive Superiority, which makes you deal 10% more damage to enemies which have a lower percentage of health than you. The gears are full Marauder. We run Superior Rune of the Eagle because we need some precision. If you otherwise run Vicious Quarry, you will get 10% critical chance increase, so you need to readjust the gears. Just aim to reach like 80 critical chance before having Fury. Then we have Mace and Axe. We have Accuracy on the main hand Mace, so it will share also with the Axe and with the other Mace, and then on the Axe we have Superior Sigil of Force, and then of course on the other Mace we have another Superior Sigil of Force. The trinkets are full Marauder again, and we run Relic of the Weaver because we have a lot of stances. This relic has no internal cooldown, so whenever we use a stance we get 10% damage increase. It will refresh, as you can see, after the stance ends and is applied, sorry, not ends. So we will have almost permanently 10% damage increase for our burst damage, and it's huge to have. It's the highest burst damage relic in the game. Before covering the Mace's skill, let me tell you how it works. So on the Mace's we have a unique mechanic, which is nature strength. You will get stacks of nature strength from each skill on the Mace's. Once you reach 5 stacks of nature strength, you will turn into a force of nature and get 15% damage increase. Sorry, earlier I said 25%, it's 15% damage increase for 5 seconds. And also, once this duration ends, you will enter a cooldown on the force of natures of like 10 seconds, during which you cannot gain any stack. Also, as you can see here, the third chain of the Mace auto attack will grant you a nature strength stack, but this skill cannot let you enter the nature strength, because it's just like that. The game design is like that. This skill cannot activate force of nature, as you can see. So imagine you are at 4 stacks of nature strength. You cannot get the 5th stack with the skill 3 from the Mace auto attack, from the third chain, sorry. So this is something you need to be aware of. Otherwise you would be casting your auto attack at 4 stacks, and you see you can never enter force of nature. So let's get into it. The first skill is the auto attack, of course, kinda slow, decent damage. The last hit is stronger and hits enemies around you, but still it will grant you a stack of nature strength. I would recommend using some auto attacks before using the other skills, so you are sure you are not getting stuck at 4 stacks. Then the skill 2, you will hit the ground and then a secondary explosion will land on the enemies and you will get a stack of nature strength. The damage is very decent. Then the skill 3 is a leap in front. You leap into the enemies and you stun them, and also grant protection and get 1 stack of nature strength. Damage is basically 0, and also it's a combo finisher blast, which is nice. And then we have the skill 4, which is an AoE around us, doing some damage and giving us some barrier and stability and a stack of nature strength. And then the skill 5, which is your best skill on the Maces. You press it, you see multiple hits, and at the end a stronger hit, which also will grant us 2 stacks of nature strength, which is huge. So let's see how it works on nature strength. We have 3 stacks now. Oh, also I forgot to mention that whenever you enter nature strength at 5 stacks, you will recharge all of your Mace's skills cooldown, so you can really spam all of them twice because of this mechanic. So let's see it. 1 stack from the skill 2, another stack from the skill 3, another stack from the skill 4, and then 2 stacks from the final hit of the skill 5. You see all the skills got refreshed and you can spam them again, so it's a lot of damage. And then at this point you should be swapping to your Mace and axe. The axe skills are the skill 4, you throw this axe and you will pull enemies to you if you hit them, but still it's like a projectile, so it can really be mitigated very easily, otherwise it's a decent pull. And then we have the skill 5, which is your main damage dealer on this build, together with the skill 5 from the Mace. You press it, it's a slow channel skill, it locks you in place, you cannot move during this, but the damage is a lot. Be sure to cast it always by using the quick draw trait, because otherwise you will get stuck on the 20-second cooldown and you have a lot of downtime during which you can deal very low damage. So please always use this skill the first time with the quick draw. So immediately swap to this weapon set when you are in combat, and then you press skill 5 immediately, so you will benefit from the quick draw. And this skill also will reflect missiles, so it really deals some damage. If the enemies are throwing missiles on your zerg, you will reflect them and deal some damage with it. And it's really strong. Be sure to cast it when the enemies are on you and they are not moving, or maybe they are just coming to you. You precast this, you are seeing your enemies coming to you, you press it and the enemies just have to walk on you and they hit all the damage. Be sure to have stability and to not die to it. If needed, you can interrupt it and dodge away. The utility skills, I already covered it a bit. So the bear stance is the best healing skill in my opinion on the Soulbeast, because we are DPS first of all, so we don't need to heal the allies. if you want more condi removal for your allies, you could go maybe for the healing spring, but in my opinion this one is better because you can really share it with the allies in your party, so you are sure they will benefit from it, because the healing spring maybe is a bit random, because if your allies are running away, for example, they will not benefit from it. This one will just apply the bear stance, I mean, it will apply a buff on your allies, so even if they move out, they will benefit from it. And also it's shared, of course, with this one, and the personal duration, 6 seconds, is a lot. It really helps your survivability, and you need a lot of survivability because your skill 5 locks you in place and you are very vulnerable during it. Then Doliac stance, I mean, I shouldn't be explaining this, it's a stun break, removes conditions, makes you invulnerable from those conditions, and also shares stability on you and on your allies. And also I forgot to mention, you get 33% less incoming damage during the Doliac stance for 9 seconds, which is huge, and this applies also on your allies, of course, for half of the duration, so like 3 seconds, half of the base duration. This one maybe could be changed if you want. You could go for maybe Frost Trap or maybe another stance. I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe you could go for the Storm Spirit, because when you summon it, it deals a very big amount of damage, as you can see. You see Storm Spirit, like 5k damage, is like more than the last hit from the skill 5, but still it's 30 seconds cooldown, and once you do this, you have nothing else to do. So in my opinion, just go for a flat damage modifier, which is the Signet of the Wild, which is 180 ferocity, and also you can press it to apply some immobilize on the enemies around you. Then we have Quickening Zephyr. I already explained what it does. Quickness, super speed, break stun. Use it before using your skill 5 on the axe. And then one wolf pack. I mean, I shouldn't be explaining this again. Entangle would be good, but less damage. And also every class basically runs resistance on their composition, on their squad composition, and also it will have a lot of condi removal, so this immobilize will really get a low value in my opinion with the current meta, so just go for the full damage option, which is one wolf pack. This is an example of the rotation you should be doing. So first of all, you should be engaging on the enemies if it's safe to do so. So if the commander says double dodge, you dodge. Otherwise, if you are just walking to the enemies, you stay a bit behind your zerg and you leap in front with the skill 3. You get 1 stack of nature strength. Then skill 2, skill 4, skill 5, then nature strength, immediately skill 5 again, then swap weapon, immediately skill 5 and press quickness with the quickness Zephyr. At this point we have, you see, 5 seconds cooldown on the whirling defense. During this time you can use your skill 2, skill 3 again, skill 4, your F3, which is a decent damage dealer, the F2 is the same, F1 the same, and then at this point we have whirling defense ready again, and you can press it again. So it's up to you to choose if you're using one wolf pack before the first whirling defense or before the second whirling defense. Just see where the enemies are. For example, if you see maybe you are not in the best positioning but you have nothing to do, you can go for whirling defense before using the one wolf pack. Then you can reposition yourself and the whirling defense will get up again. You can reposition yourself better and you can go for one wolf pack. So ideally, let's say we want to use one wolf pack before the first whirling defense. Let's see it. Okay, skill 2, skill 3, skill 4, skill 5, and then skill 5 again, immediately swap, and you see one wolf pack, and immediately skill 5 with the whirling defense, so it will be a lot of damage. Another tip is Quickening Zephyr gives you quickness for 4 seconds, which is more than you need to cast a full whirling defense, so maybe you should be using this, you should be using this for your second wild strikes, which is your skill 5 from the mace. So let's see the whole duration again. Skill 5 and then skill 5 again with quickness, immediately swap, one wolf pack, skill 5 from the axe. You see how much damage you can deal. At this point skill 2, skill 3, you can F3, F2, F1. Here I didn't use the quick draw, I was a bit slow, but it's okay. What you need to do is using quick draw trait for the wirelink defense, of course, and then I will explain it in a second on the commentary. This is a very nice clip of a very good fight we had against the zerg of Ring of Fire, and it really shows how the skill 5 also is really strong against projectile, the skill 5 from the mace I mean. So let's get into it. You see I'm about to use my mace's skill 5. I used the quick draw trait here on the skill 5. I was just swapping weapon from the axe, so I have the cooldown really reduced on the skill 5. Then skill 2, I leap back a bit. At this point you see the commander is going on the enemies. I leap in front with the skill 3 and I hit someone. At this point I have 4 stacks of nature strength. I need to enter nature strength with my skill 5 from the maces, so I can spam it again because it gets its cooldown reduced. So skill 5 on the maces, I enter nature strength, then I use my skill 2 because it leaves a field on the ground which will explode later, so it's nice to have. But then immediately skill 5 again, and I should be ready to swap to axe again for the skill 5. So skill 5 on the maces, and then immediately you see I go into the enemies, so I'm sure I will land the skill 5 almost fully, or maybe even fully. One wolf pack because before going for the skill 5, so I will boost my damage by a lot, as you saw earlier on the golems. You see skill 5, you see all this damage on these ranged guys is damage which is reflected, like reflected projectiles. You see how much damage I deal here. Look at the arc DPS. And then I walk onto the enemy, as I already said, skill 3, skill 2, F3, F2, F1, you have nothing left here. Don't swap weapon yet, make sure you use your secondary skill 5 again. So here I do a very risky move, but I think the fight was being won by us. So I go behind them and skill 5 to hit fully. I almost go down, immediately Doliac stance, I get healed by my allies. I have quickening Zephyr for quickness. And then I swap to Mace. At this point I have nothing left, I just need to out attack to build up some nature strength stacks. You see I am at 3 stacks, 4 stacks, okay. Skill 4 and then skill 5, and I can spam it again because I enter nature strength status, as you can see. Let's see it again. Skill 3, right now I am at 4 stacks. Skill 5, the last hit of your skill 5 needs to land on the enemies, otherwise you will not get any stack. And so I enter Nature's Force, you see I got larger and I deal 15% damage increase now. Then immediately skill 2, skill 5, skill 3, and then the fight is over. Okay guys, this was all for today's videos. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments, and please leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoy my work, so you really show me your appreciation. See you on to the next video, and thanks for staying with me. Have a great night. Bye bye.